So today I thought I would do a demonstration on how to mix colors, and I figured a good exercise would be to mix some of the colors that you would typically buy, such as a primary yellow or a burnt sienna. There's 48 colors in this line of student grade acrylics made by Liquitex. It wouldn't be practical to put all these on your palette, and it would cost a lot of money. So I'm going to cover which base colors you can use to mix the majority of these colors you see here. You really only need 6 colors plus white to do that. Okay, so the colors I have here are titanium white, it's very opaque, cadmium yellow light, which is the cadmium free version made by Liquitex, it's pretty opaque, and then Hansa yellow medium, which is more orange but very transparent, pure roller red, it's very close to like a cadmium red, I think it's slightly more pure, and then quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, and then phthalo blue green shade. Okay, so the first color I'm going to match is this primary yellow. If you look at these two yellows, it's the Hansa yellow that's closer, it's more orange. So I'll start with a big gob of that. Now I have acetate over these color samples so I can paint right on top of there. I can see it's pretty similar to that color, but the color sample I'm trying to match, it's darker. So to neutralize a color, you add its complement. Purple is the complement of yellow, so you can either mix up a purple, or a lot of times I'll add a little bit of red and a little bit of blue. Now I like to add a little bit of color on the outside here, so I don't add too much. If I added all that red in there, that'd turn it orange. So I'll just take a little bit of it. There, now if I compare it, it's not really that much closer. It's more red, but what I want to do is make it more dull. So if I add some of this ultramarine in here, that'll dull it down. I need more paint on here. It still needs to go darker. I can see that that's lighter. And I can see that I think there's more blue in there to make that duller. So let's add some more blue. That's getting closer. I think that's pretty much where I want to be. Maybe if I add it to some paper I could get a better sense of what the color is. It's a little bit transparent because I'm using the Hansa yellow. Still looks too reddish. I think maybe add some white too to make it a little more opaque. It needs more green. Or blue, I should say. Alright, let's clean that off. Needs a little bit of white. Lighten it up. Light blue permanent. So this looks like phthalo blue and white. The sample looks duller. I think it has a little bit of yellow in there. Maybe a touch of magenta. That would make sense because orange is the complement of blue, so that would make that more dull. So if I add just a touch of this, I think that's it. That's very similar. I think mine is slightly duller. So I could add a little more phthalo, a little bit more white. That's a match. The next color I want to match is black. You could just buy black for the convenience of it, but you could mix it. It's a good color mixing exercise. So what I normally do is I'll make a purple. I start with phthalo blue and quinacridone magenta, and I mix up a purple. That's a dark blue. Let's go a little more purple. It gets harder to judge the color because it gets darker and darker, so if you spread it out like that, you can get a sense for what color it is. A little bit more. Okay, now, so how do you get the black from this purple? Well, yellow is the complement, so to neutralize this color, I would add yellow, but you want to use a transparent yellow. If you had like cad yellow, it's too opaque. It won't be as dark as if you use a transparent yellow. So I'll put a little bit on the side here so I can add a little bit at a time. So I could add a little bit over here. Let's see what the results are. That neutralizes that purple pretty well. Now I'll mix in more into the whole batch. I'm also going to match the neutral gray 5, so I'll make a bigger sample of this so I can just add white to it. And that's a good test to see if you have a black. I mean, that you can see that's black already. I actually have to add some white to that to lighten it up. And you can get the black from other colors. You don't have to use phthalo and magenta and yellow. Just want to make sure this is mixed up so I don't have any streaks. You can see streaks of like blue in here, so trying to just mix all that out. So I'll match this first, which looks like it needs some white. So yes, it's too dark, so I'll add some white. It's about the same value, but I feel like this Ivory Black has a little bit of red in it. Actually, my black seems more neutral. So let's touch a little bit of red, add it in there, see what we get. What does it need? I think maybe just a tad bit more red. I think it might have to go slightly lighter. It might be too light. Let's see what happened. I think this is too light and there's a little bit more red in there. Let's see if I could just adjust it real quick. Yep, that's getting better. Add a little bit more black to make it darker. That's a match. It's kind of surprising how much lighter it is than the black that I mixed. It's like a dark gray. That's the thing about student grade colors, is they're not always as pure or as bright as the professional grade. And this primary yellow is quite dull compared to like the pure Hansa yellow or the cad yellow light. So now that I have the black mixed up, I can do the gray, which you just add some white to it. But I'll probably have to balance it out because I don't think it's going to be an exact match. So I need to go lighter. The value of it is close, which is how light or dark it is, but there's a difference in color. I think that might have more yellow. Needs to go just slightly darker. Let's see how that looks on a sample. That is a close match. I do think there's more red in there. I'm just gonna make a slight adjustment. More yellow. I'm gonna call that done. Burnt Sienna is up next, so I'll start with the red. Then I need to dull that down. I could add black, but I think maybe I'll do ultramarine blue. Now I can see there's more yellow in there, so I'll add some hints of yellow. Still needs more blue to make it more dull and darker. Gotta mix this up, it's not uniform. There's white in there. It's gotta go lighter. You can always test a little bit off on the side, see what it's gonna do. More yellow, I think it needs. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking that's too red, so it needs more ultramarine blue. Now it's too dark, I'll add some yellow and a little bit of white. Still a little bit more white. I think I might have it there. Bright aqua green. This is mostly white. And then the blue I would use would be phthalo blue. Don't need too much of it because it has strong tinting strength, which means a little bit will color a large quantity of white like this. Which yellow would I use? I think I would use the transparent yellow, which is the Hansa yellow, to make it green. Needs more blue to make it darker. This is a nice turquoise, but I think it's too light. Yes, so more phthalo and more green. I mean more yellow. So I'll add more phthalo, more yellow. I think that's too much yellow. So more blue. That may be a match. Maybe a little bit more blue. That's in the ballpark. I think that the color chip is more blue. And slightly lighter. Medium magenta. This looks like magenta plus white. It's too light, so I'm adding more magenta. I think that's it. I don't think there's too many pigments in here. I think it's just magenta. It's too light, so I'm adding more magenta. Mine looks a little more saturated. I think maybe when it dries, it'll dry a little darker, but let's try that out. It actually dried darker. It looks a little bit bluer too. I'll add a little bit of white. I actually think it needs a little bit of yellow. Maybe just a slight touch of white to lighten it up just a little bit more. This color definitely dries darker. Cadmium Orange Hue. I think this is mostly Hansa yellow and red. Gotta make sure you don't pick up some of these contaminants in here. If you get a little bit of blue in there, that will really dull it down. I think mine is too red. Yep. I think the color chip is whiter. Add a little bit of white to lighten it up. It's too red. I think that's it. It just needs to be lighter. It's probably as close as you can get.